usually argue about whether a movie is underrated or overrated.
Yes.
This time we're not bringing you on to argue with you. We hadn't heard of this movie. So,
I was ready to fight. I was ready to defend.
okay, I mean, we'll probably ask you some questions.
Okay.
Things like, justify your love for this.
Why do you love a holiday special from 1977?
Because
She will
I'm
answer
secretly
that.
an old man. I'm secretly 45 years old.
Welcome, everyone, to the Over Under Movies podcast, where we take a prominent figure or franchise in the world of filmmaking and ask the simple question, are they overrated or are they underrated? My name is Jason Gong, joined as always by my co-host, Dylan DeAngelis, and on today's pod, we are joined by Madeleine Mason. Madeleine is a performer, teacher, writer in the TTRPG and theater space. Madeleine, tell us a little more about yourself.
I do a lot of things. I am a playwright. I'm a stand-up comedian. I am God's favorite princess. I do a lot of things. I wear a lot of hats. Primarily, I'm a producer. I like making very silly actual plays because I would much rather be like, what if we did Love Island, but they were all monsters and they wanted to date each other? And that's just, it's stuff I'm interested in exploring. I like comedy and I like producing and making comedy.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you brought us a Christmas special to watch. Dylan and I had not heard of this.
We
But
were looking for topics for Christmas episodes. 'Tis the season.
That's right. So today we're talking about Emmet Otter's Jug-Band Christmas.
Yes, we are.
Since you have the most familiarity with it, can you explain to our audience what that is?
I would love to. This is, I think this is the best Muppet movie. So Emmet Otter's Jug-Band Christmas is basically, it's that story, The Tale of the Magi, where it's like he sells something, she sells something, so they can both get each other Christmas presents. But it's with little otters and other animals. And so Emmet Otter is in a jug band and he lives with his mom, and their pa recently passed away and they are poor, but they're trying their best. But there's a contest, there's a talent show, and you'll get $50 if you win. And this is like old timey money. So it's a lot of money, $50 is. And basically, the mom has a washing business, and she's like, oh, if I hawk the old tool chest that Emmet uses to do his repair jobs, I could make a new dress to perform in the talent competition. And I'm a very good singer. I have a very good chance of winning. And then Emmet says, oh, I'm in a jug band. If we perform in the talent show and we win, I could buy my mom a new piano, but I would have to put a hole in the wash tub. Ironically, there is a song called Ain't No Hole in the Wash Tub, but there is one because he put it there. They don't win, by the way. It's won by the River Bottom Nightmare Band.
Right.
Coolest character.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but it's okay because they collab in the end and they do a mashup, and then they get to perform, and the mom and son kind of reconcile, and it's like, oh, I hawked the tool chest to get you a guitar, and then he's like, oh, well, I put a hole in the wash tub because I was hoping I could win to get you a piano. So it's cute, it's sweet, it's very short. I love the music from it. I love anything that has a banjo in it. I'm just kind of like that's my ears go, and I'm like, yeah, let's go.
So this is the most interesting part of this is that it's directed by Jim Henson as a Jim Henson Company production. He said, is this considered a Muppets film?
I have never heard anyone put it in the lore of the universe, but Kermit the Frog is in it.
Listen, so not only did we watch, Jason and I watched this for the first time last night, we went and watched an hour documentary of the behind the scenes of the making of this film that came out in 2005, I think. So this is
the documentary,
yeah.
The
not the movie. Yeah.
Right.
The movie's from 1977. The documentary's from 2005, so well after Jim Henson passed away. Everyone that worked on this absolutely loved the production of it. Anytime I see this type of stuff, I mean, we talked about this when we did the Nightmare Before Christmas podcast.
Yeah.
Where the making of this is almost more interesting than the movie itself, because from a technical level, nobody does stuff like this anymore.
Yeah.
They'd be doing this with CGI now, and the level of problem solving that is required to get the shots for this movie is really cool. The most iconic part of this movie behind the scenes, and it's the only part of the movie that I had seen prior to this, I didn't even realize it was from this movie, was them having to do 200 plus takes of Jim Henson rolling a drum out of a doorway
Mm-hmm.
in a specific manner so it would hit like a fake fire hydrant and then roll in a comedic manner and fall flat directly in front of our two main characters. And the two guys that had to play Emmet Otter and Ma Otter, they were stuck with their arms, like holding their arms above their head.
Yeah.
And you could see in some of the blooper shots here are great because they're just like hunched over.
Yeah.
Because their arms are so tired. They have like no blood flowing in their arms. They're holding it above their head.
Yeah.
It's great. Jason, what did you think of it on our first watch there?
On the movie as a whole?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a fun little movie. I think it was kind of depressing for the first, like, how long is the movie? Like 48 minutes?
Yeah.
First 45 minutes.
So it's an hour with
Yeah.
TV.
I am gonna say this. I this is just who I am as a Christmas holiday movie. I need all of my holiday movies to be like a little depressing and
a little
sad.
blue, yeah.
I love It's a Wonderful Life so much. Like I watch that and I'm like sobbing at the end. I'm like, yes, yes. So I need my movies to be a little sad because Christmas is a sad time.
Yeah, I think this is like not just depressing though. It's like Great Depression type of depression. I wasn't just like, I'm sad for these people. It was like, these people are like well below the poverty. I don't know if they're going to survive the winter.
Yeah.
And when they didn't win that contest, I was like, is this how it ends? There's 2 minutes left in the movie.
No, it's okay because they sing in the end. So that's how you know it's okay.
Right. They realize that they're better as a team.
Yeah.
And the innkeeper recognizes their talents and hires them full time to perform. Yeah. It was pretty uplifting by the very end. I think the songs were a lot of fun. The opening song is an insane opening number to any project. Mm-hmm. What's the name of it?
It's the
Grandma.
Am I allowed to sing it?
Yeah.
It's like, it's the one bathing suit that your grandma Otter wore.
Yeah, that song's a bop. It's
about how big she is.
Hopefully we don't get copyright claimed. Be nice, YouTube. So this movie is based on a book that they basically 1-to-1 tried to match the look of the characters to the book. I believe all the songs were original though, and that behind the scenes that we watched, one guy was talking about how the song at the very end of the movie they wrote first, and then they wrote the two separate pieces that go together with it afterwards, which seems like not the way I would do it, but I'm not a songwriter. So like you said, the rock band's the best part of the movie. Those characters, they call them hooligans.
River Butter Nightmare Band.
Yeah, it's also where you get to see a lot of the cooler technical aspects of what they were like messing around with. We saw that they had groundbreaking puppeteering technology at work.
Yeah.
You still do the hand motions with the puppet's mouth, but instead it's connected to a wire that is then fed to a little robot mouth that's in the puppet itself, so you can be remote with it.
Right. They used that for the rowboat scenes so that they could row on the water.
Yeah, so because as soon as we saw the rowboat, we were like, how are they doing this?
I know, it's so trippy to see like these, like, you know that these are puppets, and to see them row the rowboat, you're like, this is movie magic.
And so there's two main ways that they did it. They had the typical Muppets, like they got their arm coming up through the floor, but they were also doing a lot of marionette work with a cherry picker that was just hovering above their set, and they were just marionetting them as they walk, which is you see it. You see a lot of wires in this.
I hate it when they're walking. I hate it when they're walking because they look so like, it's like you're sitting in a chair but you're still walking.
Yeah,
and it's so unsettling for me. I hate it.
Yeah, the only other thing I've watched like that is like Team America World Police, and it's like purposefully stupid looking.
Their feet kind of look like. Have you seen that TikTok like running and like floating trend?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
They're like feet. It looks like their feet are never touching the ground. That's what it looks like.
Yeah,
because they're up in the cherry picker. And the guy said that usually when you're doing marionette work, you're like on a flat stage, like above the stage. So at least like you're grounded and like you're not moving. But he said like the cherry picker was like bouncing up and down while they were trying to do it. So like that's why the walking looks awful, because like they just couldn't get it right.
It's so funny. It's cool when people do that trend though. Yeah.
Not when otters do it.
So not only did we watch the main movie, we watched the behind the scenes. We also watched
The Kermit
the
cut?
Kermit cut of the
The
film.
Kermit, the Kermit cut. When I watch this movie with my family, we don't watch the Kermit cut. Nothing against Kermit. I love Kermit the Frog so much. My mom just prefers the way like she grew up watching it. But yeah, no, this is why it's the best Muppet movie because it has Kermit.
Well, it originally had Kermit,
Yeah.
right?
It originally
What's the story
had
behind
Kermit,
it?
and then the Muppets as an intellectual property was bought by Disney, but this movie was not bought by Disney. So in all future airings of this movie, they had to cut Kermit the Frog because Disney wouldn't.
But he's in the intro.
He is in the intro.
He's only in the intro, and he's riding he has a little scarf on. He's riding his bike.
Yeah, the funniest part, at least for Jason, Jason could not get enough of Kermit the Frog flying off his bike over his handlebars.
It's so funny. I made Dylan rewind it like 3 times.
And then the rock band shows up and steals his scarf.
No.
I didn't realize that so much of Kermit's appeal is that he's kind of like a lovable loser until I watched that scene, and then the rest of Kermit's like entire deal kind of clicked for me.
Yeah, he's people say that Kermit's like the boring Muppet. No, he's the everyman, you know? He really is the everyman Muppet because aren't we all lovable losers? Aren't we all?
I mean, they kind of lucked out that you could cut all of the Kermit stuff out of the film, and it works
I mean, yeah, it's just
pretty
the intro.
similarly. It's definitely better with Kermit in it because Kermit does like the setup for like what you're watching, and then he kind of like narrates some stuff like in the middle and the end.
Yeah, and him flying off the bike is literally the best part. And then you also see more of the river bottom.
River bottom, yeah.
Yeah, those guys are the best, so it's always good to see more of them.
How dare you? They are horrible. They're hooligans.
I mean, that's true, but that badass one, the leader, that's the one.
Wait, the bear?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's who I identified with the most.
Yeah, he sounds like a screamo singer when they're doing their song at the end. He's got like a really deep, like growly voice.
Yeah. My favorite of the River Bottom Nightmare Band, I love the snake.
Yeah,
And I love how he's playing a bass, I believe, at the end.
Yeah, The snake is Jim Henson. He's doing the for that.
Yeah, impressive.
I forget who the fish is. We watched the documentary. And they were like, we loved like doing the fish. They never explained how they did the fish.
Yeah, do you know how they have the fish as a puppet in the water swimming around?
Because they're always doing gags of like the fish is either in a bucket or it's in its like own seat in the back of the car that's filled with water. And then at the end, he's in a giant tub.
Yeah, and he's fully submerged.
This is just me doing a train of thought. When did Jaws come out? Because that might help me figure out a reasoning as to how that happened.
60s?
Okay, so
I guess 75.
For a movie podcast, we should know.
Because what I'm thinking is because the Jaws was an animatronic. So part of me is like, especially when the fish is swimming, there might be some
1975,
animatronic elements to it.
Okay.
I don't think the fish is entirely animatronic. I think it's definitely must have been constructed in a way to be like, you know, safe in the water. But I do not know the answer to that just because I embrace this for what it is and I do not think critically about it whatsoever.
I think one thing that didn't bother me about the ending, but it stuck out, is that these hooligan river bottom boys get no comeuppance after they steal Kermit's scarf.
I guess that's an argument we can have is like, are these actually the bad guys of the film, or like they're just like antagonists?
Well, I think the real bad guy is like the real bad guy is like poverty.
Yeah, the real villain is capitalism.
The real villain is the fact that these two people are living well below the poverty line and are making these sacrifices that they shouldn't have to make in order to afford Christmas presents. And, you know, that's a very timely theme. And I think the River Bottom Nightmare boys are there to rub salt in the wound. Like, they're never going to have to worry about that. They can move through life with reckless abandon, but Emmet can't do that, you know, to put a hole into the wash tub. He, like you said, he can't just do that just for the sake of his Jug-Band because that's what his mom's business is. But the River Bottom boys, they can do whatever they want.
Who is like a standout character for you?
It's the porcupine who plays the Jug in the band, Wendell. I love him. I love it when he goes, "You have mashed potatoes?"
Yeah.
Yo, that guy was really hyped for the mashed potatoes.
Golly, you got I love him so much. My mom and I will just look at each other and we'll go, "Golly, you got mashed potatoes." I love him. He's adorable. I also love the mean fox that hates
I hate
Ma
her.
Otter.
She's so mean.
There are words I want to use to describe her that you would probably hear on like RuPaul's Drag Race. I love it when she's like, ta! And I'm like,
Mhm.
wow, there's a lot of strong words in there. I don't know. They're all just so designed. Even the smallest character has so much like eye catchiness to them. But yeah, it's probably, I do think Wendell is my favorite character.
I like him too. I think his singing is the best because he's always blowing, and then he'll just like turn to camera to say one word, and he's got like such a low voice.
Yeah, but Jason was upset that Emmet Otter does not play the jug
Well,
in the
yeah,
jug band.
I was upset because it's called a jug band. I thought the titular character should be the one playing the jug. I didn't understand the concept of the jug, what a jug band was when you sent me the title of this film. I get it now.
Yeah, it's definitely like, although part of me is thinking, do I know how jug band works? No, I'm just embracing it. But the part of me is like, how are we making that sound? Because like the kazoo makes sense, the jug makes sense, the washboard bass. Like, yeah, I know when you move your finger up, it makes it. You know, I played violin for a while, so I know how string instruments work. But like, it's still the same sound, just like a higher pitch. You know, like what are we gaining from this?
Yeah, and that bass was putting in most of the work for
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
songs.
sounded really good.
Mhm.
Although you pointed out that the star of the talent show is the piano player
Yeah.
that plays on every single act. I guess they just don't get to participate.
I forgot to mention my other favorite characters, the dancing rabbits in the talent show. I do know the
Oh, yeah.
dancing rabbit dance by heart. And then
Are they rabbits? I think
Yeah,
they called
no,
them squirrels in the
there's-
documentary.
there's the rabbits are like
rabbits.
da, da, da.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, those guys. And
The flying squirrels are like, yeah, they're like literally
I-
throwing
yeah,
squirrels.
not the flying squirrels, but the squirrel in the audience. It's like, what? I love her. She's adorable, but I do love those are some other guys. In the talent show, there are just so many little delightful things to look at.
Question about the rabbits.
Yeah.
Siblings or dating?
I think they're siblings. I think they're siblings because in no world do I see a straight couple do that. And I like, I know there's probably like a couple and there's, you know, there's a guy who's game and you know what? I salute you. I salute you. You are God's bravest soldier. But I truly don't know like a single couple that would do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
It took me out for a second that neither of them are wearing pants.
Yeah.
This movie sticks pretty hard to like, these are just animals wearing normal human clothing.
Yeah.
The one woman that did a lot of the costumes
Mm-hmm.
for this was just like a regular costume designer that they like brought in, and she
Mhm.
and she apparently was very excited to like
Yeah.
not have to worry about working on people that would like yell when they get like pinpricked. She
Yeah.
just like build the little coats and the pants, and like it was really nice, like really cool costuming for these characters.
Yeah. Oh, to build tiny coats for little otter puppets.
I know that's like a dream job for a lot of people. I feel like, and it's just not in demand anymore.
Yeah.
Well, that was my main takeaway from watching the documentary, because for some reason they didn't show a lot of behind the scenes footage in it. It was mostly just the people talking about how much they enjoyed working on it, and they were so excited to talk about working on this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hadn't heard of this. Dylan hadn't heard of this. When I told other people what this was, they also hadn't heard of this. Like, how prominent was this in your childhood?
Well, my mom made me watch it every year for Christmas because my mom loved it.
Was it on TV, or did you have like a
We
VHS?
had a
of it?
VHS tape of it. We had a VHS tape of it because my mom watched it when she was a kid, and she and my aunt love it. Like they love it. This is me publicly going on record and apologizing to my mother for pushing back in my middle school years and not watching Emmet Otters. It is good, actually, Mom. You are right. I'm sorry. There, are you happy now? But yeah, I watch this every single year. It's just in my memory. These songs are on my Christmas playlist. It's there. It is there every single year for me.
Yeah, it's very interesting because I don't think it
Yeah.
like plays on TV. I mean, did you do any like research and like?
So it came out in 77 in Canada. It got its US debut in 78. It started getting reruns on like ABC and Nickelodeon in the 90s, which is how I maybe thought you had seen it initially. And then a little bit of play in the early 2000s. But I don't think it's been on TV in like a long
Yeah,
time.
because we had to buy it when we got rid of our VHS player. We bought it on Amazon Video. But now it had a production in Chicago, a stage production, and now it's going to Broadway. So it is coming to the stage.
Right, yeah.
It is interesting, though. Ma Otter and Emmet Otter Scandal are played by humans. They are not puppets. Every other character in the show is a puppet except for Ma and Emmett.
That's why.
I don't know. I wouldn't have made that choice.
Yeah.
There's also no Kermit in the musical. Sorry.
That's interesting. I mean, don't they do that in the recent Muppets movie? Isn't there like one human character and then
I mean,
everybody
that's
else is Muppets?
what the Muppets do is they interact and they bring in
Yeah.
like A-list actors to play
Mhm.
off the puppets. That's what makes it funny.
Yeah, but doing
Um,
like the inverse of that, where it's
Yeah.
you just have what are they are they going to be big or
No,
are
they're
they?
they're they're humans dressed to look like otters.
yeah, I don't. Are
It's
the Muppets going to be small? Like they're just going to be hand-sized heads
no
still?
in BTS video I watched, like I do think it's more half and half and not it's not just Ma and Emmett, but like the puppets are puppets and the people are dressed like animals. And they
Okay.
have like these big bulky otter costumes. And I don't know, maybe they're afraid to invest in an all puppet musical. Maybe they're afraid. Maybe that's
Now
why.
listen, if you're doing Emmet Otter's Jug-Band Christmas as like a stage play, like you gotta go hard. All right, go big
Exactly.
or go home.
Yes.
Do you think that the humans are going to be playing the jug band? Like, do you think he's going to have a
Yes,
wash
they
bin
do. They do
bass?
play on stage, I believe they do play.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So we'll have a better understanding of how those instruments work, I think,
Hopefully.
if we
Yeah.
see humans play it in real life.
Would really like to understand it.
There's also a movie reboot of this in the works, directed and with songs written by one of the Flight of the Conchords guys. So that should be fun if they actually land it.
Don't do that.
You don't think it's a good idea?
Why would you like it's fine. It doesn't need to be fixed. It's fine.
Is this gonna be like a Disney production or
Probably.
like the Jim Henson company's owned by Disney now, right?
But
Yeah.
But again, when Jim Henson sold the Muppets to Disney, I don't think they bought this movie.
It's the relation between the Muppets and the Walt Disney Company is interesting at best. I'm thinking about theme parks right now. They used to have a bunch of Muppet themed shows. A lot of them are gone except for Muppet Vision and Disney World. All of them are gone except for one. So they're not really using those Muppets. So I don't know why they're doing it now.
But do you feel like the Muppeteering is kind of an art form that's being lost?
Yes, it is because there is like the CGI of it all and the fact that well we can just replace people with robots and puppeteering is such an art. Not even just Muppeteering, but puppeteering is such an art and is something so specific and something that is so beautiful to watch in action and you can really deeply feel for something constructed out of like linen and wood and you can see the human controlling it but you still feel for like this thing that was created to be moved around. It's such an art form. It makes me sad that it's not being invested in because it's really 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 cool and it works both in film, TV and stage. It's something that can really help immerse the world like Baby Yoda is a very very effective puppet. He's an amazing puppet. He's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, and I think when you're watching a movie, you can tell when you're looking at something that's real versus something that's CGI. Like your brain, even if it's really good CGI, like your brain can't fully, figure it out.
Mhm.
We talked about when we talked about Nightmare Before Christmas, like that's similar with the stop motion stuff. Like it's such like a perfect blend of entertainment and artistry. You need to be so skilled at those jobs in order to like produce at that high quality level. You watch this movie and every single shot is like this must have been a fucking nightmare to produce. And like they talked about it in the documentary, that like every shot, like Jim Henson was like on the fly, just problem solving. Like, how do we get this? Like, it just the boat shot at the beginning. There are multiple types of boat shots that they do. They had an Emmet Otter like robot basically that could paddle the boat. He was actually paddling the boat around.
Mhm.
He was actually turning the boat. But they also had like close-up shots where they just had the stage was just like cut off like at the edge and the frame of the shot was just at the edge of the boat so that you could just dolly the camera as you're moving with the boat. It's just if you're doing this on a computer, like you just place the camera where the camera needs to be.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
that simple. I saw like a Twitter post because I guess like the Flash is on streaming, the new
Yep,
Flash
it
that came out this
is.
year, and somebody posted like a shot of the Flash running, and they were like, "Wow, this is so amazing! This is all one shot.
I
all
saw that.
CGI.
It's all
So
CGI."
bad.
Like this isn't like, I don't know, how Birdman is so well kind of shot and edited, it looks like it's all one shot. Like this isn't that, that is not that. So yes, the CGI is cool, but you're addressing the wrong kind of kudos to it.
Yeah, I think the one shot like praise is a little bit overrated, and that this movie, Emmet Otter, is like a good example of that, because you can tell when the cuts are from the marionettes to the Muppets.
Yeah.
And like it doesn't always look flawless, but that adds kind of to like the magic of
It's
it.
fine. I'm sure if you were watching this as a kid, like you don't notice any of that stuff.
No, yeah, it's so short. It is like in its pacing, in its like length, it is very clear that this is geared towards children,
Mhm.
because like obviously if you're an adult and you're watching this, you'd be like, it's cute, and then you change the channel. But for no one loves a puppet more than a child. Like, and for kids to be like and realize that's a puppet, and then to just be lost in that thing of, oh my gosh, this is amazing. They're adorable. They have the saddest little eyes.
They were sad.
Yeah.
So one thing you said when you pitched this movie to me was that you like this more than A Muppet's Christmas Carol.
Do.
And I guess to get into some hot takes, like, what puts this above such a beloved Christmas film?
I think for me, the songs in Muppet's Christmas Carol, not all of them hit for me. And this is no hate to Muppet's Christmas Carol. They're not all bangers. In the way my brain is wired, I'm more prone to remember like Ain't No Hole in the Wash Tub than I am When Love Is Found. There's that. And then with A Christmas Carol, I'm kind of tired of it. Like I love it, but I can't see the same 12 conversations on Twitter every year about how this is the best Muppet movie, the best Christmas Carol movie. First of all, the best Christmas Carol is the 1941 black and white version. Because it really leans into just how depressing the story is. And then yes, we get it. We get it. Okay, we get that you were weird in high school. We get that you didn't have a lot of friends. And we get that finally now everyone sees the thing that you championed. I'm just kind of tired of talking about it. Like, yeah, it's good. That's all we need to say. Like, yeah, we can talk about, of course, we have the Michael Caine stuff. Like, but everyone knows that by now. Everyone knows that. Why not go to something a bit weirder and something a little bit, shorter and something just a bit different tone-wise?
It's definitely different tone-wise. I remember coming out of it thinking like there's not a lot of Christmas stuff in this movie, really.
No, there is.
It takes place around Christmas, and the central plot point is like they're trying to buy gifts for each other for Christmas. But that's it. Like they're having a talent show around Christmas time.
Yeah, it's a Christmas talent show.
That makes sense. I think the story it's based on, Gift of the Magi, is the exact same thing. It's like a Christmas story that's not about Christmas, really. Like the Gift of the Magi gets reskinned constantly, recontextualized for whatever. But I think part of what makes this Christmassy is like, one, all the snow. Two, I think the fact that it's really depressing and then uplifting at the end. It does feel Christmassy to me, even though they don't have like Christmas trees up.
They get the Christmas branch.
Oh yeah,
they can't
that's
afford
right.
a Christmas tree, so they get the Christmas branch.
He brings in the most depressing Christmas
forgot
tree
about
you've ever
that.
seen in your life.
That was so
Ma,
sad.
I gotta go get a Christmas branch. That's what he says. And then it's like so small and it's so sad. And it's like, oh my God, he's going to die of hypothermia. He's so small. He's a baby. Oh, yeah.
I mean, these two are definitely not making it through the winter if they don't get that job. This is going to be their last Christmas together.
Oh
Exactly.
my
Like,
God.
here's the thing. There are stakes to this. Like, you really do feel the stakes.
That's what it feels. It feels like when they lose that talent show, they go, "Well, I guess we're going to die now."
Yeah,
Yeah, like, well, might as well.
Which we tried our best, guys.
they were just gonna go home to a cold house and no way of making income.
Yeah. Well, they could have figured something out,
I feel like the town should have helped them more, like in It's a Wonderful Life.
Exactly. Like it is very clear that they are beloved by the town. And I do think that is why this is like, I don't want to be like, this is my film theory. I don't want to do that. But like, I do think one of the main reasons they got their job at the end is maybe because like the innkeeper was like, wait, these are good people. They put in such a good effort. They deserve to win. This isn't fair. I have the ability to like step up and help them. And I don't know, he's a real hero of the story.
Yeah.
Good for him.
I like that
I
reading of
also
it.
love the frog mayor. I also love the
He's
frog.
very detailed.
I
He's
love him.
very like
Yeah.
dressed up.
He's a little hat. He has a little waistcoat.
It's got spectacles.
Exactly. If you enjoy tiny animals dressed in little clothes,
I do love that in this universe that everyone's last name is just what animal they are. It makes it very
Yeah.
easy to follow.
That's why the rabbit sibling or dating game was so hard, because they have the same last name.
oh, what about
Siblings
the
were
squirrels?
married.
Were the squirrels?
I would imagine they were all siblings. All
Okay.
Wait, the squirrels were like the flying
Yeah, the
circus
flying
one, right?
squirrels.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're just incestuous, all of them.
I don't know. Yeah, they're squirrels, so
Yeah.
probably.
Why not? Can we talk about what happened to Pa Otter? They make multiple references to him trying to sell snake oil. Did he have like gambling debts or something like that? What was happening with Pa Otter?
I think I think snake oil was a last resort. I don't think Pa Otter believed in the snake oil. I think basically Pa Otter had a job and maybe he like broke his leg or something and he couldn't work anymore. And he was like, great, what am I gonna do? And then he was like, I'll sell snake oil. Snake oil doesn't work, but it'll make money.
He got looped into a pyramid scheme.
He did. He got looped. He boss babed it too close to the sun. Yeah, and then he died. So
It's like the movie starts off on the depressing foot immediately.
yeah,
It lets you know what's coming.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, first you have a song about how hot and how big of a butt your grandmother had, and then, well, it's the first Christmas without Pa. Yep.
I read somewhere that the snake oil that Pa Otter was selling wasn't like our snake oil. He was selling oil for snakes, like lotion for snakes.
Well,
And there just wasn't the clientele in
Yeah.
the
It was for
town.
the snake that's specifically
the
in
one,
The one
snake,
snake, yeah.
that one snake is responsible for Pa Otter's death, and it is on his
Wow.
scales.
Yeah, and then those River Bottom boys, they never face any comeuppance. It does kind of bother me a little bit.
That's why I love them so much. Like they showed up to this talent show of this town that they're not from, and then they win the talent show, say nothing else, and then leave. And then they steal Kermit's scarf on the way out.
It's crazy.
I'm gonna be honest, like I do hate them so much, but at the same time, like their song is so good. The
They deserve to
production
win.
value. Like, I don't know, if I had my little dress and I'm singing my little song, I was like, I did so good, and I see these like rich kids from the next town over with like pyrotechnics and an electric guitar, I'm like, what the fuck?
And went above and beyond. There is one song in the talent show that got cut from the movie, which is the woman that runs the music store that
Yeah.
we see getting they're like messing up at the beginning of the movie. She has a song where she's like a big like red dress doing
Yeah, it's almost like a body
Yeah.
burlesque type of song.
Good for her.
Yeah.
God forbid women have hobbies.
yeah, that got cut for some reason.
But you can see it in the making of special.
Great. You know what? I love this for her. I think she should have won. It should have, if not the Otters, then her.
Mhm.
If not the Otters, then her.
Shout out to the person that uploaded this entire movie directly to YouTube. If you're watching this podcast on YouTube, you can watch Emmet Otter's Jug-Band Christmas immediately after
Yeah,
this.
it's free. And to watch the Kermit cut, you just have to watch the 1 minute, 30-second clip of Kermit introducing the film, start watching the film, and then find the Kermit narrations to
In
play over
pause
the
in
film.
between,
Yes.
I mean, we could probably download both videos and then splice it all together.
We
and
could
then
make
re-upload it to YouTube.
We could make the Kermit
Exactly.
cut.
The
We could
Kermit
restore
cut.
the Kermit cut.
Jim Henson, restore, come down to earth. Actually, Bob Iger, restore the Kermit cut.
I don't think he's gonna do it. It's up to us. I think that video would get more views than anything else we ever did.
It's fine. I'm assuming that like that video has probably not been copyright claimed or anything. They just probably don't give a shit.
I don't care.
It's Emmet Otter, you know.
And it's like a terrible VHS rip of the movie, which makes it even better.
like
it's so bad.
this movie is meant to be watched. A, you're 7 years old. B, it's Christmas Eve and you can't go to sleep, so you sneak downstairs and you put the VCR in and you just like sit on the couch and it's like 2 a.m. and you watch it because you can't go to sleep. Like this is that movie. It's like a little bit of a fever dream, but it's also so comforting at the same time.
Do you
You know,
still watch this movie?
Oh yeah, I do. I'm terribly excited to go back home and watch it with my mother again. I purposely do not watch this by myself. I do have to watch it with my mom.
Watch it with a tub of ice cream. That's the
Yeah.
Yeah.
combo. We talk about it all the time that the human brain is so weird is that if you see something when you're a kid, it automatically makes it way better as you get older, regardless of the quality of it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I do think it's a good little movie.
Mm-hmm.
but watching it for the first time as like a 30-year-old, there's no way you're gonna have the same reverence for it as somebody who's watched it their entire life.
I will say, if you're gonna go watch it, it's very endearing and earnest. This is not for the irony pilled, you know? This is not for the irony pilled. It is endearing, it is earnest, it is sad, it is a little bit of a bummer. The songs are a bop, and you're in and out in a very short amount of time.
Yeah,
we love short movies.
We do.
Honestly, the movies, I think, need to be 90 minutes now. They're too long. Movies are too long.
Preaching to the choir here.
Yeah, Dylan says that every episode, so we agree with that.
So I did it this time. Yay!
Can we talk a little bit about like holiday specials in general, like Christmas specials? I feel like that's like a dying breed of like movie type.
Well, obviously you don't have a subscription to the Hallmark Channel.
Can't say I do. It's not on our list of streaming services we pay for.
Every year, Hallmark, like, this is their Super Bowl. They think they produce about 60 new Christmas movies every year, and they start airing them.
I don't mean like Christmas movies specifically.
Yeah.
I mean like
holiday
like
specials?
holiday
Like the
specials.
Peanuts special.
The Peanut special.
Or like all the stuff that we see on like ABC every year, like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, or Year Without a Santa Claus,
Hold
that
on,
kind of stuff.
before we move off the Hallmark thing, did you guys see they put up a job posting where they're looking for a Christmas curator and they'll give you $10,000 to watch their Christmas movies every day of December?
Honestly, like, yes, I would do so great at that. Like, Hallmark movies. I think when actually in college, when I took a screenwriting class, and one of the people that guest spoke was someone who wrote Hallmark movies, and she said basically something along the lines of, in my contract, I specifically have to follow a formula. Like, there is a contracted formula that all screenwriters have to use when they write their little Hallmark movies. But my favorite Hallmark movie is Plum Pudding She Baked, a murder mystery, which is both a murder mystery, Christmas movie, and rom-com all in one. And the camera work on it is surprisingly very good.
Oh, shit, I love murder mystery, so we might have to subscribe to the Hallmark channel, dude. Oh man,
because like the most famous holiday special, like in the nerd world, is the Star Wars holiday special, which came out I think like 78 or 79.
And they've embraced it now. Disney has embraced it. You know, they sell so much Life Day merch now.
Yeah, they did. I think they did a Lego Star Wars holiday special right on Disney Plus. They did a Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
They did that. Disney will put out some holiday stuff. It's interesting. I think it's the oversaturation of the market, because I live in Los Angeles, so I see a lot of advertisements for specific holiday programming. That's because of the city I am in is prone to seeing a lot of like film and TV advertisements. So like there's a lot of new stuff out coming. There's Christmas miniseries, I think, is a new thing. It's like either movies or miniseries, and that's like it. There's no like, unless it's the Disney Channel one-off holiday specials anymore.
Yeah, because back in the day, like holiday specials were like variety shows basically.
Oh yeah.
So they would have like cutaways of just musical performances that are wholly unrelated to the story that they're telling, but they're just trying to like pad out the time for TV.
Exactly. They were perfect. I wouldn't change a thing.
The Star Wars holiday special is incredible. Maybe for Christmas next year we'll do a Star Wars holiday special episode.
With Bay Arthur.
It's something that you watch once and then never again in your entire life.
Cool. Well, I haven't seen it, so that could be my first one.
I don't know. It's my favorite two things, where it's Broadway legend B. Arthur and Star Wars combined. It's truly like, I love it. It's a little fever dream. It makes me happy.
So you're a big fan of like these weird Christmas specials.
I do. I like them. I think it's a very niche market, and it's a market that's very hard to do, I think. And it's very hard to pull off. You can be forgotten so quickly and so easily.
It's gonna be so hard to like break into that nowadays, because people are they watch whatever they watch when they're a kid, and then they watch that for the rest of their life.
Yeah, because that's what Christmas is. It's revisiting nostalgia over and over again. And I do think people are trying to make the next Christmas movie that you will rewatch like again and again. I think it's definitely hard. I think there are some, like, I remember the movie Klaus. I think it's very cute, and I think it's a good like Christmas movie. And then Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell did Spirited, which I think having like the celebrity attachment is why people went to it. I thought it was fine. I enjoyed it. I was like, sure, yeah, cool.
Yeah, like we were talking about Elf. My family watches Elf every year.
Yeah.
That's like the last big one that I can think of that like has like really stuck with
That
people.
was like
It was a while ago at
majorly
this
successful,
point.
and Buddy the Elf is like almost part of the Christmas canon
Yeah,
at this point.
if there's like a pantheon of Christmas, it's like the Bumble from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer,
Uh-huh.
Buddy the Elf. Oh my God, there's a movie called Olive the Other Reindeer.
yeah.
I've seen all of the
Yes, with Drew Barrymore. It's so good. And we watched every year because my dog looked like Olive the Other Reindeer.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. But anyways, for those who don't know what it is, it's about a dog that hears that's on listen. And Santa's real, by the way. In this universe, Santa is a real person who makes like Franklin Roosevelt's like fireside announcements on the radio. And like Rudolph is sick, so he says something about all of the other reindeer must pull ahead, and Olive's like, he's talking about me. And because like, because Olive's like, oh, I'm a misfit. I'm not really a dog. I'm a bad at being a dog. So I must be a reindeer. And then she goes to the North Pole and then she becomes a reindeer. It's great. And then there's a penguin and an evil postman who has the best song in the world.
Well, that's like the best part of these like Christmas movies is that they always have weird shit in them that you don't remember until you like rewatch them as an adult and you're like, what is happening?
I know. It's just like, it's so trippy because you only watch these movies once a year. It's
Yeah.
enough. There's enough time passing.
And it's
forget.
seared in like the back of your brain so that you'll never forget it ever.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Do you think Emmet Otter belongs on the Mount Rushmore of Christmas special characters?
Like in my heart, he does. In my heart, I'm like, I don't know if he is like beloved enough as a character to be in like the official Christmas pantheon. What I'm hoping is that over the years, like this develops a little audience, and then maybe we can see like, I want a little plushie. Of him.
Yeah, some merch
Where
would be good.
like the merch for this would be so good. Like think of all the little plushies we could have of Emmett and his friends. So I do in my heart he is, but I don't think he has enough like, I almost said notoriety. That's not the word.
Yeah, I mean, it is unfortunate that, I mean, this film, clearly the people that made it put a lot of heart into it and a lot of effort, and it's kind of gotten lost to time a little bit. Like I feel like we're pretty well versed on movies in general. And when you told me about this, I was like, I got nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. And like the only thing I'd seen about this movie is like the behind the scenes bloopers of them rolling the drum.
It's great. Every year around this time, those bloopers go like they make the rounds on Twitter again. And every single time I see it, I'm like, I stop everything I'm doing. I'm watching it because it's so delightful. It's so delightful.
The best part of it is Frank Oz, I believe, does the puppeteering for Mom Otter.
Ma Otter, yeah.
Because the woman, the voice actor, she was also the singer, and apparently they said that she sucked at puppeteering, so they're like, we can't have her do the puppeteering for that. So it was Frank Oz. So when they do the blooper reel, it's Ma Otter speaking with Frank Oz's voice
Exactly.
every single time,
Well,
and he's just talking shit to Jim Henson every time he messes up.
It's so good.
No, my favorite is when Emmett's like, it's like, I can't move my legs, Mom. They're nailed to the ground. That's
Just, go get it, Emmett. I can't.
That one's my personal favorite. And then spare change, sir. Do you have some change? I love that one as well.
Yeah, I just like every time they flop to the ground because they're just too tired.
That's me though. Like I still flopped on the ground. And I'm like, oh, me too.
He's
Emmet.
just like me for real.
Exactly.
Cool. Usually we have to like reach a verdict about whether something's overrated or underrated.
I would say this is definitely underrated. We usually give like an objective like rating that we think this movie gets.
Yeah.
It's very highly rated on like Rotten Tomatoes and like IMDb. However, it's got like single digit reviews usually online.
Yeah. Well, my question is, because I'm very well versed in it, like for you, I want to know what your favorite characters were. I want to know what your favorite songs were. I want to know for you, what did this movie like do for you as a viewer? For me, that's what I'm very interested in.
It just came off as really depressing to me.
Who is your favorite character then?
I really like the rock band. Anytime the rock band showed up, I started like paying attention again.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite song?
Well, I mean, the rock band song and the talent show was great. I don't know the names of any of these songs. You can't put that.
River Bottom Nightmare Band, Ain't No Hole in the Wash Tub.
So they're one of those bands that their main song is just the name of the band.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, iconic.
It's a good way to build your brand.
Yeah.
Nobody will ever forget it.
What about you, Jason?
My favorite character is the fish that swims in the water because I don't know how they did it and I really want to know.
Yeah.
I'm also not sure if he was playing an instrument.
Yeah.
He just kind
He
of
was there for moral support.
Yeah.
Honestly, he's the groupie.
Well, I couldn't tell if the splashing was supposed to be like rhythm, like drum
No, it's
keeping.
not. He's just
So he's
there.
just there. He's a
Like
dancer.
a go-go. He's a
That's
go-go
what I
fish.
said yesterday. He's a go-go fish.
It is funny. I think the snake plays bass, and like obviously he's not like strumming it. He's just like whipping the strings with his
It's
tail.
so good.
No, it's great. And then the song that they sing, this is important because at Jim Henson's funeral, the song that they sing when the river meets the sea, they sang that at Jim Henson's funeral.
Oh.
And
That's probably not a great sign for your like Christmas special that one of the songs can be used at the creator's funeral
Oh, for
because
me-
it's so depressing.
for me, I'm like, yes, I can say that the more sad I feel while watching a Christmas movie, the better it is, you know?
And I think that song wasn't just used because it's sad. It's also like almost written as like a gospel song. It's
It is.
religious in nature.
Yeah, I know of a friend who at her family member's funeral, they did sing that song as well. So it's a funeral song. And when I die, we'll play River Bottom Nightmare Band.
Oh, hell yeah.
Incredible.
My favorite song is just the first one because why were they kind of roasting their
You
grandma?
immediately picked that out. You were like, what the fuck are these lyrics?
Yeah. Wait, it was Heaven Sent. They mistook it for a circus tent. They mistook it for a pirate ship sail. The diaper of a baby whale.
Yeah, that's so savage
It's tough. Tough look for
for Grandma Otter.
Otter.
I know.
Yeah, and to pivot from that right to like First Christmas Since Pa Died is crazy, crazy.
Yeah.
That song does not set you up for what this movie is at all.
Well, it's kind of in a minor key, so you know. When you really think about it. I'm trying to think, my favorite I do love them going to the talent show and the guy sings barbecue and they're like, we can't sing the same song he did. They'll think we're copying him. Because like in the real world, if you went to a talent show and two people sang the same song, you wouldn't think that.
Mhm.
But in my brain, for me, I'd be like, oh no, they're gonna think I'm copying that person. So that scene means a lot to me as someone who does have that train of thought. But if they went on, they would have been fine. No one would have thought that like they were copying him.
Yeah, that guy also kind of sucked, right?
Yeah, he wasn't even singing. He was just talking.
Yeah,
With his banjo.
yeah, he was trash. Get him out of here.
They'd also be doing the Jug-Band version of the song.
Yeah.
Because like the song that they do in the talent show, then the song they do at
It's
the very
brothers.
end. It's the exact same song, but like the tempo is completely different, so it doesn't even sound like the same song when they're doing it just as the Jug-Band.
Any other favorite things from this movie?
That's a great question. I was thinking the little frog in his little top hat and his little monocle. It's freaking adorable. It's just everything about it is so detailed and it's love is seeping out of this movie. Like, yeah, it's sad. And yeah, sure, focusing on the story. But when you see like the big picture, you can see just so much love seeping out of it. It's like, this is gonna be a very sad analogy, but it's like going to your grandmother's house after she's passed and you find like all of like her hand sewn stuff. All of this has such a
yeah.
labor of love. Melancholy, that's the word for it. I love melancholy, and this film is the perfect example of it. I am going to do a song ranking. The best song, in my opinion, I do love When the River Meets the Sea. Second favorite, Ain't No Hole in the Wash Tub. Third favorite is the one bathing suit that your grandma Otter wore. My least favorite is the sad song, like We're Closer Now Than Ever Before, that Ma sings. Like, it's so slow. She's not doing anything. Like, it sounds nice, but yeah, whatever. River Bottom Nightmare Band is at the bottom too because they're just screaming into the mic, and I can't appreciate that. And then Brothers is like that. Brothers / barbecue are kind of in the same vein. So yeah.
Cool.
My song
Good ranking.
Yeah, I mean it's good. You're probably the first person that's ranked the songs in this movie this millennium, probably.
I honestly, probably not. I've learned that there are no such things as original ideas at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think this movie is probably a little bigger than we think. We just happen to have not heard of it.
It's possible. I mean, I'm not privy to like the puppeteering world or anything like that. I don't know if this is big amongst like theater people.
I don't know. I went to like theater school and my friends didn't even know what this is. I like my older friends who are in their 30s and 40s knew what it was. But yeah, it is definitely of a certain generation. has a certain fondness for it.
But yeah, I mean, it's a fun little movie to watch.
Yeah.
We're always down for like checking out things that we've never watched before, and I mean, this is the time of year to watch it, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we'd all recommend watching it if you haven't.
Yeah,
and you
definitely
probably
recommend
haven't.
it. It's short, if anything. If you don't like it,
Sure, if you have kids or nieces or nephews, they might really, really like this. They might be very entranced by the puppets and delight in them. So this might be a very good viewing experience if you have small children that are easily mesmerized by animals wearing little clothing.
Cool. So I think that's going to wrap up this topic. Do you guys have any final thoughts?
He didn't have to put a hole in the wash tub. He didn't have to. I don't think he had to.
I feel like if they had he could have put the hole in there, and then if they still had the tool chest, he could have repaired it in some way.
Yeah, like it's a hole with a nail. It's a nail. Like, you're telling me there wasn't a way to fix it. You're telling me that Ma Otter couldn't plug it up.
Yeah, just put the nail back in where the hole is. Yeah.
Anyways, like, yes, I
just
guess.
some sealant. You can seal that guy up
Yeah, exactly. They're too poor to afford sealant.
to afford duct tape.
Yeah.
When we post this, we'll definitely just have to send a tweet to Frank Oz being like, "Hey, this is very important. How did the fish work?
Yeah.
Please tell us how did the fish work."
Please, we need to know. That's the secret he'll take to his dying grave.
Yeah.
So that's it for this one. Did we get it right? Have you heard of this movie? Do you love it? Let us know in the comments. Madeleine, where can people find you?
Such a great question. Don't find me. No, I'm the Goose Girl on all social media platforms. That's TheeGoosegirl. Like
We'll
something.
put it on screen. If you watch this on YouTube,
I'm
it'll be
gonna
on screen.
Honest, the two things that stress me out so much are spelling in front of people and doing math in front of people. But I'm the Goose Girl. I post a lot of content. I am doing things. It's the end of the year, so I'm like planning projects for the new year. So if you want to learn about my projects, Twitter is the best place for that, or X. I'm on TikTok, where I talk a lot about the video game Baldur's Gate, which I love so much. So yeah, and I occasionally stream stuff on Twitch. I cover the Church of the Rock plays, which are Easter plays done by a evangelical church in Canada, where they crucify a beloved fictional character every year for our sins.
Wow.
So yeah, but I'm the Goose Girl on all good social media platforms.
Sounds really cool. We will check that out, and
Yeah, we'll put links to all your stuff in the description. So if you want to check her out,
should be great. For us, you can like us on various social media platforms. Follow us on Patreon.
5-star on Apple Podcast.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. Rate this podcast. It'll bump us up in the algorithm, I guess.
Yeah.
For myself, for Dylan, for Madeleine, we'll catch you guys next week on the Over Under podcast. See you at the movies.
Hey everybody, Merry Christmas.